All right, welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all as always. And let's start by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by thinking of your word or phrase or your anchor or focusing in on everything you love about your subject. Very good. And start to feel your heart opening, your chest expanding, that loving feeling. And allow that light, that energy to shine out from your heart. Very good. Remember, you can use your favorite color if you need a little help getting into it. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill that little you, yourself as a child, any age. Love that little you just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood. Good job. Shining that light into any darkness. Loving everything exactly as it is. That's where the power is. Very good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today. All those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today. Love each one just for existing. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And let's check in with each person, find out how you're doing. So just to let you know, Steve is away for a couple of days, so that's why he's not on this call. And also to let you know, I did send an email out to everyone who was registered for this week to say that there won't be a session on Monday because it's Labor Day here in the US. So we're actually going out on Labor Day with some friends. So we will be back on Tuesday. All right. So Katrina, how are you today?
Hi, Odile. Yes. Yeah, very good. Very tired. But definitely in a better space.
Good.
There's a lot of work to be done. And another memory came up of not feeling safe.
Yeah.
So my parents were super authoritarian, and you were not allowed to speak or answer back. You certainly weren't allowed to share how you felt. So it was all very scary, not being able to tell anyone how scared and how unsafe I was.
Yes.
So that probably is a big driver of the whole shebang.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And so, of course, what you want to do is create new memories of, of course, change the ones where you learned that it wasn't safe to speak, change those to the opposite, positive and empowering. And then in addition to that, you want to create new memories from scratch. And this is for everybody, actually, or for, at least for most people. Create new memories of your parents fully focusing on you and listening to you and saying, well, what do you think? and then they genuinely want to hear what you have to say. And then other memories where they're busy with something, they're busy talking or they're busy doing something, and you start to speak and they stop and they listen to you. And they acknowledge what you're saying, and they, you know, whatever it is that you need them to, however you need them to respond, that's the way they respond. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Very a very powerful reference, that.
Okay.
Yeah. Good job. And was there anything else?
No, I haven't got to. I thought it was important to just focus on this end of it.
Yes.
And then when I have the found solid in the foundation, I will be open to new ideas, Odile, for next week.
Absolutely. I will be thrilled to share. I love sharing those kind of things. So absolutely. And well done that you're spot on there. You need to set the foundation first. So that's just perfect. Thank you for being that example for others as well.
Okay.
Good job. And so
Okay.
we also see it as kind of tilling the ground and planting the right seeds that you want. And then the rest is like watering and, you know, I was going to say putting manure on. Well, you know, that's not perfect. It's not a perfect analogy, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Taking care of them. Good job, Katrina. And thank you for sharing, sweetheart. Excellent. All right. And Lisa, you're next up on my screen. How are you today?
Hi, it's Fantastic Friday and feeling good.
Excellent.
So this is from You Have a Superpower. I just love this book. It's so good. Page 91 works for your health, and you can use your superpower to achieve your ideal body weight and to become fit and healthy. Use the superpower exercise to fill your body with unconditional love, and then keep that love going for your body, even if it never changes. Love it exactly as it is. And remember, you're shining a light into darkness. Love the bits you wish to change. Love them exactly as they are. Even if they never change, you love them anyway. So that's, and you do it for your food too, it says.
That's right.
So I love that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. And it's such interesting synchronicity there, because this morning, a friend of mine, Tammy Magnuson, shared, or it wasn't this morning, she actually did it yesterday, but I only saw it this morning. I watched it this morning. She did a Facebook Live in her group, which is called the Happiness Tribe. And which is a great group, I do recommend it, on Facebook. And but she said such a clever thing. She said, when you think about what you want to achieve, so, you know, house, success, healthy, you know, physical state, great relationship, whatever it is or more money, whatever it is you're wanting to achieve, is hating your body going to get you there? And I just thought that was so clever, because, you know, why do anything that, number one, that's not going to get you what you want, but number two, is actually holding you back from what you want? So I just thought that was a lovely, you know, different perspective, a different question to ask. And so, like as you've just pointed out, loving everything the way it is without it needing to change is the way to get what you want, because hating it is definitely not going to get you there. So good job. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that.
Yeah, our health is our wealth, you know, very, very much so.
Spot on. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. All right. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
In terms of just the work of changing memories and like that superpower, I feel like I'm really stuck. So I can't really change memories because I can't really bring down the emotions.
Right.
Well, I tried, like I said, I felt a bit left out, like left behind. And I realized that was a reference of my cousins going to school, and they didn't take me with them. I mean, I was only 2, but I really wanted to go to school. So I tried changing that, but I couldn't. Like, something always got in the way, and then I tried changing like different ones. So I'm just stuck.
Okay, very good. Well, that definitely sounds like, there's something there, maybe an anchor. So let's explore. When you go to that memory now, when you remember that time now when they went to school and they left you behind, can you feel the feeling now?
Yeah, so I think what's left is just their facial expressions of I don't want to take you with me.
Very good. That'll do it. All right. So those facial expressions of I don't want to take you with me, what does that mean to you? What does it mean that they didn't want to take you?
That I didn't fit in with them. I mean, they were much older than me, but
yeah. But at 2, that doesn't come into it. So at 2 years old, it's all about survival, and it's all about if somebody doesn't want you with them, that could mean death. So that's important.
yeah.
And so that feeling of so what was happening, what else was happening in your life around that age? Were you with your parents, or had they
Yeah, I was with them. I think at 3.5, 4 years old, they left.
Okay, all right. So it was just before. So that's probably all connected,
Yeah.
right? So let's see, when you try to change, so you try to change their expressions, what happens inside you?
Still the what happens inside me is it's like this hatred and this anger.
Very good. So what I'm thinking actually is probably needed is a due justice letter to them.
Yeah. Okay.
From that 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So from that 2-year-old's perspective, so no logic, no reason, you don't understand. There's no understanding. They should have taken you with them anyway. That from that perspective, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
Good. So do a due justice and then come back and see if you can. So for those who are new to this as well, who may be watching the recording or that, it's important to remember that that this is all about the child in you, and the fact is that your those people whose expressions won't change, that's all inside you, and so it's not the actual people. So we can imagine things differently, but like you were saying, it's the emotions that are holding it in place. So when we can't imagine something differently, all it means is there's other references, or the emotions are keeping it back. It doesn't mean that it can't be done, or that it's anything to do with those people or the event. So that's excellent. Well done, Swasti. Good job. Sorry.
Also what stems for that is just in general day-to-day life, I've been feeling really defeated. I don't know if that's one main thing that's linking to it, or should I just do the letter and then go on from there?
Okay, so let's just check it. So definitely do the letter, and then you can change them and keep going back and forth until those emotions come down. But let's have a look at this. So this feeling of being defeated, can you feel it now?
Yeah, it's like a heaviness.
Very good, Swasti. Good job. And so I want you to focus on that. So put your hand on your leg and notice the sensation of your hand on your leg. You got that? Just how that feels. You got yeah. And now let's go to that heaviness of being defeated. And I want you to notice it in the same way, just the sensation. It doesn't mean anything. Just notice what the sensation is. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good, very good. And now we're going to just allow that sensation. It's okay to feel it. You don't need to stop it. Don't need to change it. We're not judging it. It's okay to just feel that heaviness and allow it to be there. Can you do that?
Yeah, and it shifts to a weight in the ankles now. It's actually pulling you down.
Yeah, so just allow that as well. So luckily you're not trying to run, so it doesn't matter if you've got heaviness in your ankles, and just allow it to be there without judgment.
Okay, yeah, it goes away.
Good job, very good. All right, so now that heaviness of being weighed down, where in your childhood did you feel that?
Well, a visual comes to mind of just like the house in India and everybody there to do with like school, and no matter how hard you tried to get up, you couldn't.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense. All right. So let's rewrite that. So what you're aiming for is that the house in India was always, there was always a party going on. There was always people visiting and music, and everybody's happy. And you had friends come over for sleepovers, and you had a swimming pool, and you invited all your friends over, and you had barbecues and whatever makes it even more fun. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Good. So what you want to do is keep, do whatever it takes to end up with that. So, and of course you want the atmosphere of it, so that whenever you think of that house, it's a happy, uplifting feeling.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Redecorate, or choose a completely different house. However, whatever will work for you to create that feeling.
Okay. Yeah, because it was definitely not like that at all.
Yeah.
It might also be like the location as well, and I'm going to change all of that.
Change the whole of India if you want to. We've had clients, who grew up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, and Steve's had them rewrite the whole of Ireland to this big party island where there was never any trouble. So you can rewrite whole countries, whole cultures, whole religions, because it's all it's all inside you. So you have complete autonomy over it all.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, now I think about it, that makes sense. But like with everything that's been going on. Yeah, thank you.
Good job. You're very welcome. I'm so proud of you, Swasti, and so excited for you.
Thank you.
How do you feel now?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels a little bit more lighter, I think.
Yay, very good. And now you know what to do moving forward?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good job. Thank you for sharing, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Good. And Sadia, how lovely to see you. How are you today?
Hi, Odile. Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here and back. Well, as you know, I sent you a message because I've been experiencing like very deep anxiety the past week. I was really trapped in my own head, and it was very difficult to just get out of it, allowing things to be, and just to find peace during this period. So now it's feeling much better, but I have a question. The thing is, it's like there's a confusion when I'm practicing this superpower state. It's like I've been finding so many ways to deal with anxiety because it's not the first time that I've been experiencing this. And the way that helped me was, Eckhart Tolle's teaching about practicing the power of now.
Yes.
And Wayne Dyer, and lots of teachings about not identifying yourself with the emotions and all the things like that. But the thing is, each time I would say, okay, I'm going to practice the present moment, or not. It's like there's a constant fight in my head, like when I'm trying, okay, should I, this is a childhood memory, like should I address it? But there's a fight, like a fight like about letting go, like be in the present, not trying to change and controlling things, and practicing the superpower. And I don't know, I already asked you that question about resistance, also to practice the superpower. And I know you say it's not a feeling, it's not an emotion, sending unconditional love to the situation that you do not desire.
Yes.
But like there's a lot of resistance and criticisms not to do things. Like it's like I'm dealing with a bunch of things at the same time.
And I completely understand that. And here's the thing with the unconditional bit is that it's not something that is a quick thing to get for most people. So it's because it's, you know, it's contradicting our survival instinct. So that's why it's difficult to get the hang of it to begin with. And it is conditioning and practicing, learning the skill like a physical skill. So like, you know, riding a bike or getting fit. So when you begin, it's like you're lifting very lightweight. Now, before you can lift those big, whatever those are called, you know, the big ones that the weightlifters lift, the bodybuilders lift, you can't just go and lift those. And that is the equivalent of unconditional love. So for something that you don't want or that you're scared of. So it's about developing those muscles, and you develop the muscles with easy stuff, which means you know, things that you do love and inanimate objects. And thank you so much, Sadia, for bringing this up, because I you know, I can't emphasize enough for everyone, and this is a reminder for everyone, and to let new people know that focusing target practice with inanimate objects, so the lamp, the computer, the chair, the window, your coffee mug, the toilet roll, the tap, practicing aiming that unconditional love at those things, making sure that you are loving that thing for being, you know, so practicing the unconditional bit is so important to develop that skill and that stamina, and keep your body getting used to those feel-good chemicals. So it feels like pointless. It feels like, yeah, but why am I sending unconditional love to the hand cream? You know, what's it going to do? But it's not about the hand cream. It's not about the object. It's about the state you are getting into in order to do that. So, you know, like target practice with cans, when people practice shooting with cans, it's not about the cans. The cans don't need to be shot. It's about practicing the aim or the skill. Well, you know, I don't know much about shooting, but you know what I mean. So it's about what's happening in you as opposed to what's happening in the target, as far as that kind of practice goes. So inanimate objects, practicing on inanimate objects. And if you do that every day, every time you do it, you're getting better and better, and those new neural networks are being established in your brain. And that is, of course, in addition to bringing down stress chemicals in the moment. And then in addition to that, it's about practicing when you're not triggered. It's whenever when you're feeling good, really amp up that feeling, take advantage of it, ride that wave, so that again, you're flooding your body with those feel-good chemicals, keeping down stress chemicals, and developing that skill and those neural networks. And then when you are triggered, take it easy on yourself. You know, you can try using it. If you can't conjure up the feeling, just I'm doing whatever it takes to just feel good. I'm just going to get through this. So watch TV, listen to music, go for a walk, do whatever feels good, go to sleep if necessary, do whatever feels good, reminding yourself that you will get back to it when this is over. So the best analogy for this is if you're imagining you're driving along the road, and when you hit a storm, you want to keep driving. So you don't want to stop and get out of the car and bathe in the storm and focus on the storm, because that's not going to get you anywhere. And what we tend to do is we tend to buy into the bad stuff that's happening. So whether that's anxiety or something happening, circumstances or an event or a person, we tend to focus on that and think that that's real. We tend to buy into that and think that that's all there is. And then the more we focus on it, the more we come up with, you know, extra thoughts and feelings to add to it, and it gets more and more intense. And that's the equivalent of pulling over when you hit a storm and getting out of the car and staying in the storm and going, this is terrible, and thinking that that's all there is. And you don't want to do that. You want to stay in the car and keep moving forward. Now, you may need to slow down. You may need to put the windscreen wipers on. The visibility you may not be able to see as clearly, And you may want to put it, it feels real and it's really scary, but you can put an audiobook on, put the radio on, sing to yourself, do whatever it takes to take your mind off the storm and keep you moving forward, no matter how slowly, but staying on the road, keeping your focus on the destination you're going to and not where you are right now. And the equivalent of that is play a game, watch TV, uplifting, of course. Don't watch like the news or anything, or crime programs if that triggers you or anything like that. Watch, you know, uplifting stuff. Just put some music on in the background that you love. One of the most effective ways is to go for a walk, listening to an uplifting audiobook, like on Audible or something. You know, do something physical. And if none of that, if one thing's not working, do something else, try something else. You know, so there's a tendency, and I've had this myself, where you put on some comedy and you don't feel any better, it doesn't make any difference, and then you go, well, that doesn't work, and then you slide back into the whole the negative hill, the negative mud. So you want to go, you put on some comedy, that doesn't work, put on some music, that doesn't work, sit and imagine your favorite color, that doesn't work, go for a walk. Just keep doing until you can feel better, and something along the way will put on our videos, put on the videos of these sessions and start watching. Even if you're feeling bad, just put it on and just follow along with it without any demands on yourself, without any pressure. You don't have to do anything, but just watch it, and it'll start to, or a TED talk, you know, something uplifting and inspiring. So the point I'm making is the unconditional love, the main time for that is when you're feeling good, so that you're practicing it when it's easier. And then eventually, as you develop that skill, you'll find yourself being triggered and automatically going into the unconditional love. And then you'll go, okay, and that'll be a hit and miss for a while, you know, as you get better at it, as you develop that skill and as your brain and body become conditioned for it. Does that help a bit?
Yes, thank you. But there's one thing, and for me, this is really the block. Like, well, it's still the same. Like, you've helped with the comments, but I've been trying to, okay, it's not energy, it's not, you know, filling in all, it's just it's not a filling in all this kind of thing. But I feel like each time I would try to deal with the resistance, it like becomes stronger, you know. But I don't know if probably it's about beliefs in my mind, you know, probably about what to do, because there is a part that says, okay, you know, according to the law of attraction, faith, and all this kind of thing, what you think of, even if you say this is not what you want, you include it.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, if you don't want something, it's like you think about what you want. So all the time I would think, okay, I'm going to, you know, send light to darkness, but I feel like it's not giving my attention to it. Like, I always feel the resistance. Like, I was wondering, how could I overcome, even if I know it's like, you know, sending light to darkness, how can I overcome this? And
excellent question. Yes.
Yeah.
And so the answer is that when we are, let me think of a, here we go. Okay, so at the moment, I've got a bit of a challenge with one of our rental properties in England that we were selling. Another buyer has backed out. So in my, you know, I see an email come in from the lawyers or whatever, and I can feel that resistance, that worry, you know, the immediate, the thoughts come to me, there's something wrong. So now it feels like, if I say, before it would have felt like, if I send love to the failure of that situation, it feels like I'm encouraging it, right? Now, the difference is, so here's what makes the difference. If I don't want that to happen, it's in the background anyway. So in other words, if it didn't matter to me, then it wouldn't matter, because it doesn't have any effect on me. So I'm not holding it in my attention. But when you don't want something, or you're frightened of something, or you have any kind of emotion, negative emotion, you're holding that thing in your experience. So the more you are able, as you send love to it, you're releasing it. I don't need this anymore. It's okay to just allow it to float away if it wants to. But so it's about the energetic state. So, you know, whatever you're focusing on, whether you want it or not, you're holding it in your experience. So that means when you don't want something, you're holding it in your experience. Now, if you shine light into it, if you go, I love it, it's like letting it go. Here's another analogy that I think is great. So when you think, okay, this thing, I don't want the empty bank account. I don't want my bank account to be empty, or these bills or whatever. And as you are thinking that and feeling that, it's like you're arm wrestling with the thing. Now, when you're arm wrestling, you're holding on to it, right? And I don't want it, I don't want it. Loving it is like letting go. It's like going, okay, you're all right. You can just stay there. It's okay. And then the thing can leave, because you're letting go of that by shining light into it. And then you're putting your focus on what you do want. How does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I need to keep that in mind, that loving is not encouraging it, but it's about letting it go without
that's
it.
Exactly. That's right. And you know, it takes a little time to get it, because it does seem like a contradiction. And that's, I know you have the book, you have a Superpower, and so reread that as well, because, you know, sometimes hearing it in a different way, and, you know, and reading something again after you've heard other things, sometimes you get those on a different level and that kind of thing. So, so reread that as well. And you'll, you know, eventually we'll just keep doing, additional metaphors and analogies and everything, because you're not alone with this. You know, this is the biggest hurdle for most people, especially when you start dealing with things that are really triggering, you know, that are really scary or really unjust or that kind of thing. That's really hard. And, you know, depending on your references, it's going to determine, of course, as well, which those, you know, what those things are and how strong the reaction is. So hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. I will need to practice that.
You're very welcome. And keep asking the questions. Keep asking the questions, and we'll keep, you know, because again, saying it in different ways, not just for you, but for everybody as well. Good job. So thank you for asking that, Sadia, because I know it will have helped others as well.
Yeah. I actually haven't, everybody, like I am full of questions today.
That's
but
great.
Yeah, another question I have is like, when you have it's like when you are constantly criticizing yourself.
Yes.
Doing things right perfectly for not, it's like for anything. I've been trying to hug my little me to, okay, you know, be gentle with yourself and all this kind of thing. But it's like, there's this voice, you know, and I'm finding it hard to, where does this come from, to, you know, like this critical voice. I've been trying, okay, because Steve has, you know, he did a little bit of work with me to say, okay, to, you know, mentoring myself. But the thing is, if I find that, you know, difficult, but I can't find a reference, how could I deal with it? Like, you know, criticizing yourself all the time, like.
Good question. So let's use the new technique on this and let's see what happens. So I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to think about how, you know, the critical feelings about yourself, the judgment, whatever that is, and how does it feel when you think of yourself in that way? What feelings, emotions come up?
It's hard to tell.
So in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud, but in your mind, think of some of the things you've been criticizing yourself about or judging yourself on, and see what feelings that brings up or what emotions that brings up. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with the things you do that you were criticizing?
Well, here's the thing. This is what is complicated. It's not only about criticizing myself, but it's like I am frustrated because I am aware of that voice that is constantly criticizing, and it's like, okay, you are your worst enemy and this kind of thing. Like, what's wrong with you that you can just, stop criticizing all the time and appreciate things? So it's not much about, the criticizing. It's much about the voice that I'm aware that is always criticizing.
And so this is interesting to consider, and this is for everybody as well who experiences this, is so you're basically criticizing the criticizing voice.
Yeah.
Judging the judger. Very good. All right. So let's now I want you to imagine just allowing that voice to criticize, allowing it to do it. You don't need to stop it. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to change it. Just allow it to be there, that voice, that critical side of you. Can you do that?
Yeah.
It's not that feeling of it's okay. You just go ahead and it's all right. It's all right because there's nothing, you're not in danger or anything. It's just that voice criticizing, and that's okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Good job. Now I want you to see if you can step back from that voice and have it in front of you and see if see what it looks like. If it had a form, if it was an entity, a living thing, what would it look like? What would it be like? And if you don't have anything, that's also okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to make the difference. It's like a very mean version of me.
Mean version of you. Perfect. Perfect, Sadia. And so that mean version of you, I want you to imagine her in front of you and imagine asking her what she needs. What does that mean version of you need?
That's interesting. Yeah.
You got something?
Yes.
Good. Very good. And so are you able to give that mean version of you whatever that was that she needs?
I'd say yes.
Good. Very good. So imagine doing that right now. And what happens?
A bit of resistance.
Resistance, very good. And so how do you know that's resistance? What happens when you try to do that?
Well, the thing is, I feel like that voice needed a little bit of love. So I'm going to give love to you. But the thing is, okay, what if it does not last? If like, okay, I'm giving it to you now, but it's like, it's always going to come back and I'm going to have to always deal with.
Very good. Good job. And so ask that voice, that part of you, that mean part of you, what will it last? If it had love, would that last? So here's what I want you to do. I've got a better idea. I want you to think of something like an object. So it could be like a fluffy thing or a tiara or anything or a cushion or a puppy, anything, something that represents love. And then I want you to give that, imagine giving that thing to that mean part of you for her to keep. So she's got the love forever. How does that feel?
Yes.
Looks
better.
Good, very good. And so now whatever that object is, she gets to keep it, it's hers. So she always has the love with her now. And what happens as you do that?
No more resistance.
There you go. Very, very good. So now what we want to do is moving forward, whenever that voice comes up, just remember the thing that see her with whatever that thing is that you gave her. Just remind yourself, remind her she's got the love. It's okay. In a very kind way. Just, oh, remember you've got the love. That's okay. How does that feel to you?
It's an extra. I'm gonna give it to you.
Good.
Oh, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And then as you do that, you may find that memories come up from childhood, and then you can just change those to the opposite, positive and empowering. Because, of course, this part of you that does the criticizing and judgment, what it's actually trying to do is keep you safe. And it'll be based on whatever childhood memories are there, childhood experiences are there, where you needed to be safe. You were in danger, and by danger, it doesn't even mean physical danger. It means somebody was cross with you or something like that can be. And so it's trying to keep you safe. So just constantly reminding yourself, oh, it's got the love now. But when those memories come up, then you can change them to the opposite, positive, empowering, but you don't need to go digging for them right now. You've got something to take you forward. Does that sound good?
Yes. Thanks.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing as well, because I know that will have helped others as well. Good job, Sadia. Thank you. And I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. Thanks.
All right. And so I'm going to check the chat. Let's see. Very good. Lots of hellos. Hello, everyone. And any questions that are, question. When you deal with a really early memory and you notice an anchor, the anchor could be related to a memory that is much later in life, or do you always need to search for references earlier than the memory you're working on? Anchors that do. Okay, so an anchor, I think, would usually be an early one, but perhaps not always. So I would say experiment with it. The ones that from what I can remember, it's usually been an earlier one. But what can happen is that you can't remember any earlier ones, then go with a later one and see, as you work on that one, an earlier one may come up. But what the subconscious often will do as well is, as you're working on a later one, if it's connected and it can change that earlier one automatically, then you won't remember the earlier one. It'll just be changed automatically. So the answer is to go with, here's the thing with anchors. As you try and change a memory, notice what's still there that stands out, and what is the first thing that comes to mind that it reminds you of? And even if it makes absolutely no sense, go with that. And if more than one thing come up, then go with the earliest one. All right, so I hope that helps to clarify. Very good. And Swasti says, I also wanted to say, I only noticed this yesterday, that this work, the superpower, allowing technique and changing references, has helped my relationship with my dad. That's wonderful. It was a little bit toxic before, but now he's a little more understanding. In Chris's words, keep at it. Keep at it works. Very good. Thank you, Swasti, for sharing that. And that is so, I can't tell you how much my heart loves that. That really, really is. And that will continue to get better and better. So good job, you. Really, really good. I'm so proud of you. All right. I think that was all the questions, right? And so I am going to go into the targeting superpower state now. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Using your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Very good. And feel your heart starting to open, that expansion feeling in your chest, as you allow that love, that light, that energy to shine out from you. Very, very good. Now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell, just for existing. Very good. And now fill your subject with that light, that energy. All the things you love and appreciate about them. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you, or doesn't have all the qualities that you love and admire about them and appreciate about them, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Very good. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Good job. And now to Sadia. Fill Sadia with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sadia just for existing. Now allow that light or energy to overflow from Sadia and fill the part of her that's critical. That critical voice, the one that judges her. Fill that version, that mean Sadia, fill her with that same light, that energy, that love, exactly as she is and without needing her to change, shining the light into any darkness, loving everything exactly as it is. And feel that expansion feeling as you do that. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Very good job. And now to everyone who's off camera today and everyone watching the recording, fill each one with that same light, that energy, that love, that power, loving each one exactly as they are, and no matter what, shining this light into any darkness, loving it all anyway. Feeling that superpower shining out from you, flooding everything and everyone in your world with light. And now think of yourself later today and over the weekend, and fill that version of you with that same light, that energy, that love, no matter what happens, no matter what you'll be doing or experiencing or feeling. And then imagine that light or energy overflowing from that future you and filling everything and everyone around you, shining out from you, just like a superpower, protecting you and transforming everything around you by loving it exactly as it is. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. Very good. You can open your eyes if you have them closed. Well, that was wonderful spending that time with you all. Thank you all for your contributions, with your questions and everything. You know, we love doing this. And as I mentioned before, there won't be a session on Monday because of Labor Day, but we will be back on Tuesday. And so over the weekend, I'll create a new booking link for it, and we'll send out that email and put it on the website as well. Continue to share these videos with those you feel would benefit from them. And so looking forward to seeing you all back on Tuesday, and lots of love to all of you. Have a fantastic weekend and keep practicing, and we'll see you then. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.